What's going on, everybody? It's Raymond in the car here with another episode of the Brew Sportscast. What's up, bud?
Not much. Just chilling out here in Wyoming.
In the great state of Wyoming.
Yep, the equality state.
Is it cold there?
No, it's in like the low 50s right now.
Oh, nice. It's hot here.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome back to the podcast for season 2 of the Brew Sportscast.
Yep.
I sort of thought we wouldn't go through with it a little bit. Part of me thought we wouldn't go through with it again because you moved away, but hey, here we are.
Resilience.
Yeah, we found a way.
Yeah.
So, but tonight we're just going to talk about the draft and our 2023 opponents and what we're going to do throughout the football season on the sport.
Right. Nice.
What did you think about the draft, though?
Obviously, at first, I was sort of discouraged because of Cam Robinson forcing our hand on taking a lineman first round.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you look at that guy, like when you look at taking that lineman there in the first round, it helps Trevor out, and we really did need help on the offensive line to beef, depth on the offensive line and beef it up.
Right.
So, yeah, of course you always want to see like some like skill player or playmaker or something, in the first round that's more exciting. But I think it honestly that turned out to be or will turn out to be the best thing for our team.
Yeah. That offensive lineman we drafted with our first pick, they compared him to Juwan Taylor, and they said he was more athletic. So
Nice.
that's a good sign.
Yeah.
We drafted how many? We drafted 5 offense and 8 defense.
Yeah.
So I think it was I was impressed with the safety and I think is it the DB from A&M?
He's a safety from A&M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know who any of these people were before we drafted them. And then you start hearing from other people like Mitty or whoever, like, oh, this player is actually really like a stud. And then you start looking at highlights and stuff. And that's how it was with the safety. I was like, well, that Cisco needs help back there, and shit. Do we still have? Yeah, we still have Rayshawn.
We have him, I think, for this year. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they could always use help. They both did well last season, and when you start looking at that player that we drafted, and then is he the one that you said fits well into like the nickel position or whatever?
I believe so. I believe that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He played like 80% nickel.
Okay.
The last couple of years, but I can't wait to see this guy who's supposed to play both sides. Parrish.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about him the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, freaking. You said they're starting him off in the running backs room, so for fullback.
As a fullback.
Yeah. And then he plays on the defensive side. He plays defensive line or linebacker. I thought it was defensive line. Yeah, edge. Okay.
Sam was telling me the other day that he has a higher rating as an edge rusher than Will Anderson from Alabama does.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
I'm also I hope Strange turns out well. I'm glad we took a tight end. I was hoping I was more saw more highlights and stuff, and my dad talked up Mayer a lot from Notre Dame, so I was hoping we would get him or that guy from Georgia. But a lot of people say that guy from Georgia is an iffy pick, probably not going to be good just because of his health issues.
He's got knee problems.
Yeah.
That's why he dropped so far.
Right. So that could be he could turn out to be really well, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're screwed.
Right.
I'm watching highlights on that receiver we took. Is it Parker? I want to say.
Oh shoot, dude! I couldn't tell you.
I'm pretty sure his last name's Parker. Anyways, when you watch highlights on him, they're talking him up about how he never catches the ball with his body. It's always his hands outstretched and getting to the ball before defenders. And when you watch highlights, I mean, yeah, I saw so many catches where he's just making these freaking like outstanding like one-handed catches and stuff, and just jumping for
Yeah.
the ball like over two defenders. And
It's from Penn State, right?
yeah, Penn State.
Yeah. You know who the last wide receiver was from Penn State that we drafted?
From Penn State.
Allen Robinson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So well, let's hope he can do the same.
Yeah, but no, I thought a lot of people were hating on our draft because of all the trade downs and stuff.
Yeah.
That was crazy to see Balky and them trade
Mm-hmm.
that many picks away. Like it seemed like almost every round they're like, we're getting ready to pick, and they're
No,
like, nope, traded down.
they traded down, but they gained like 2 extra picks.
Yeah,
So I mean, it worked out.
yeah. We'll see. I mean, certain people, like I think it was Killian that said like, yeah, you gained two extra picks, so now we're gonna have like six late round guys that are like average players or whatever. Like woohoo, that you know.
I mean, we drafted for depth. So I
Yeah.
mean, right now I mean, they could be average right now, and then a year later be really good.
Yeah, I think I read something where they said they explained the draft that the Jaguars drafted um what is it for depth and for was it for Trevor's next contract or whatever.
Oh,
Something like
really? I didn't
that.
know
How they
that.
put it. I don't know if they were saying like
Get rid of people.
right, like making salary cap room or something like by yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, you got to think too. We drafted the wide receiver, and because you can't keep Kirk, Ridley, and Jones, you can't keep all three of them.
Right.
So you're gonna have to draft a couple of them these next couple of years to put them on rookie contracts.
You got to keep at least two of those guys.
Get rid of Zay. Sorry, Zay, but get rid of
No,
Zay.
no, Zay's a good. I'm thinking Zay's the one that you keep because he won't be the biggest contract. I'm thinking they're going to see who performs better and who is a better fit for long term between Kirk and
And
Ridley.
yeah,
I'm honestly really high on Ridley, and I'm hoping he does turn out to be the Ridley from back in the Falcons days.
I
You
think
know.
I think he could be better. I think he'll be better.
So if Ridley turns out to be as good as he was a couple years ago, then
Yeah,
I think we keep him and Zay and get rid of Kirk.
I can go along with that. Yeah.
And then we have to freaking keep Ingram. Like we can't get rid of our. We have to have a good tight end. Like any winning team, they have superstar tight ends.
Yep. Yep. Work on a deal throughout the season if they can't get it done soon.
Yeah, I'd honestly rather. I love Christian Kirk. I'd rather lose a star receiver than lose Ingram because you
Right.
can replace a receiver. You can replace tight ends too. But I'm saying there's more receivers. Like a key tight end is like harder to get.
Yeah. Let's move on to the opponents that we have this year. I don't know if you can remember what we talked about the other day, who we have.
Yeah,
Can you?
I know. I was running through it with my dad today. You'll have to list them off again. I know for the most part who we have. Obviously our
Yeah.
division, but and then we play the Cincinnati's division. So we have Cincinnati, Cleveland, Baltimore, and
Yep.
Pittsburgh.
Yep. But we have Cincinnati and Baltimore at home.
Yeah,
So Baltimore has to come here for the second straight year, and Cincinnati. We go to Pittsburgh, yeah, and go to Cleveland.
and then I know we play. What's the other division we play?
Well, I'll just name you the home teams: Baltimore, Atlanta, Cincy, Carolina, Kansas City, and San Francisco.
That's it. The other division we play is the Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa
Yes, you're right.
Bay, the New
You're right.
Orleans,
Yep.
and then we play Kansas City and San Fran are like,
Yep.
um, yeah,
I really thinking about it right now, our division is so weak. We could go 6-0 in the division, and then we could beat the NFC South, all four of them.
yeah.
That's 10-0 right there.
I was watching the video you sent of Colin on the herd or whatever,
That was
where
that was your cousin Brandon.
well when he was ranking the top 10 AFC teams and he put Jags number 4, and then he said they possibly could be number 1 because their division sucks so much.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking like, yeah, but those other like look at their schedule. They have to play Kansas City, San Fran,
Well,
Cincinnati, freaking don't we play Buffalo?
yeah.
Yeah. Um But he said
five
he
playoff teams.
was it him, I think, in that video that said he could see the Jags having a 13-win season.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like the video until I heard him say that.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I think it's
I
very possible too, but we'll see what we really think next week when we pick our division winners and what our record's going to be and stuff.
oh yeah. Are we gonna start with the AFC South?
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay, we can do that. Uh,
We'll just do.
uh
We'll just go. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it in order so we go like north, south, east, west.
okay,
So let's start with the AFC North, then we'll go AFC South. We'll go north, south, east, west.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Um, Based off of the opponents we have, who would you want to play first?
So
Somebody bad or somebody good?
I want to start off against the Chiefs. So
Yeah.
the reason I say that is because they're the defending Super Bowl champs, even though it's the first game and they can use.
Let me stop you right there. In the past few seasons, the defending Super Bowl champ has always opened up Sunday night. So it won't be Kansas City. Well, it could be Kansas City here in Jacksonville. Yes, you're right. My bad.
Yeah.
My
So
bad. I
I would like to
apologize.
see either them or Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because I would love for us to come out right away and make a statement. And even though it's the first game of the season, and there people can be like, they'll use that excuse. Well, it's the first game; they weren't really warmed up. Like it doesn't
Right.
matter. It would still give our team a great like momentum boost for the rest of the
Right.
season to
Right.
come out and make a statement. And then
Yeah.
if we lose, we can just use the excuse. Well, it was the first game; we weren't ready.
Yeah. Um.
What about you?
Uh, oh boy, I don't know. Like I, Kansas City. Let's just say Kansas City or Cincinnati. One of those two.
Yeah.
Those are really, or even maybe I'd take Buffalo game one. They're vulnerable.
I was about to say I wouldn't mind Buffalo either, and then we could talk shit to Bobby and Eddie
Yeah. Uh,
right off the bat.
I'm just looking for those primetime games, at least two.
Yeah,
But since we're talking about the opponents, the picture I sent y'all earlier about the schedule coming out on Thursday,
yeah.
May 11th, there's now going to be a Black Friday game for the first time ever.
Nice.
And I saw on ESPN this afternoon that you know how the Jags usually play on CBS all the time.
Yeah,
These stations or whatever you call them, networks, don't have teams under contract. So every team or station is a free agent, basically.
huh.
Like, we play 95% of our games on CBS. We could play on Fox more this time.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just something I saw on NFL Live today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see here.
Oh, one thing that you had mentioned to me that I thought was a great point. You were talking about London and who you would want to
Oh, yeah.
see us play in London.
Yeah.
I think you know who you want to see the away game in London.
Didn't I say Buffalo?
Yeah,
Yes.
because
We don't want to go to Buffalo.
right, it would be a great like they wouldn't have the home advantage like they would in Buffalo, the cold and stuff.
Right. Right. We know how their fans are. They're freaking
Yeah,
psychos.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So explain to our listeners, or not listeners, viewers, but what we're gonna do, like our pick'em and the fantasy thing.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the same thing pretty much that we did last year, where we'll have like two segments. We'll have our first segment, and then we'll have a fantasy segment.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start off next week by doing the basically our predictions for the season. So we're gonna go through the whole Jags schedule when it comes out, which it'll be out by next weekend. Yeah, or next Monday.
We're doing the AFC North next week.
Right, but I'm saying we're doing the winners of the divisions, but we're gonna go through the Jags whole.
Okay.
Right.
No, we're doing.
Yeah, I got what you're
No,
saying. Sorry.
we'll do AFC North division. Who's gonna win that division first?
Right, and in doing who's going to win that division, we'll mention their
Yes,
record.
exactly. We'll go to their schedules and go.
Okay,
Yes.
so anyways, we're going to do our predictions for AFC North, and then here's the thing: like don't we want to also do predictions for like conference winners and Super Bowl winners? So do we just wait till we go through all the divisions before we do that? Like do that with the final episode?
We'll talk about that off camera and figure it out. Yeah.
But anyways, we're gonna go through AFC North next week, and we'll basically predict our division winners. And each week we'll do that leading up to the season, and then once the season gets started, then each week we will be doing NFL pick'em where we compete against each other, predicting the winners of that week. So we're gonna do 10 games total
Hmm.
each week, and the way we're gonna format it to make sure we include all conferences, divisions, and stuff, we're always gonna take the Thursday night game, since episodes are we're gonna air on Monday. Or
Right.
we're gonna take the Thursday night game. We're gonna take the Jags game, no matter who they're playing, unless
Or day.
huh.
Or day. Or day.
Right. We're going to take the Jags game. And the other 8 games, since there's 8 divisions, we're going to take one team from each division.
Right. So some days there could be two AFC
Right.
South.
Because they don't always play the same division. So, yes, we're just going to make sure that we cover at least one team from each division, basically.
Right. Right.
Um, and then after we go, we'll preview the Jags game that week. We'll talk about any like big news across the NFL or whatever. And then once we move into the fantasy segment, we'll go back to our handy trust, bust, and thrust like we did last year, where we pick the 3 fantasy players from each position that we think will be a trust, which is like your trusted guy that you must start, that you, and then a bust, which is like a guy that you would normally start that you think is just going to shit the bed that week. And then a thrust is like a guy that's either borderline starter or maybe like, hasn't been like a sleeper that you are going to thrust into action that week and give him a chance.
Right. Right.
And then on top of that, we're going to also do like we did last year and choose our overall what is it, like fantasy MVP, or I forget, how was it, the Juggernaut? Is that how we award
No, you did Beast. Beast of the
Beast of the
Week.
Week? That's right. We'll do our Beast of the Week segment where we just choose one player from any position. So one player out of overall that is our like,
Fantasy related or just
no,
overall?
like for
Like,
fantasy.
okay.
So just one player that we think is gonna basically put up the most fantasy points that week.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's
Okay. So Beast.
quarterback, running back, wide receiver. We're just going to name one player and basically see if I pick Travis Etienne and you pick yeah,
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, then we'll see who out of those two scored the most points. And then
Right.
we'll
Right.
probably mention, like when we're reviewing it the next week, like we picked these two, but the highest fantasy scorer this week was Lamar Jackson
So
or Josh Allen.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Um. Yeah. So we've covered that part. Is there anything else you want to add? I do have a question for you, but
Yeah,
is there
I
anything else you
also
want?
want to add, as we're doing these videos, any of y'all watching, like if you want to comment, like if you have questions for the next episode, or even any of our friends watching, like you have our phone numbers, we're in a group chat together. Like if
Right.
you want any questions answered, like if you're like for the next week, I don't know, I'm thinking about trading this player, or what do you think about picking this guy up, or
Oh, remember last year when you screwed Max over?
yeah, that was enjoyable. But anyways, if you have any questions at all, like why does Ray look like a faggot, then you can like text us
Wow.
and we'll answer those questions on our podcast for you.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Nice. I wasn't ready for that one. Okay. So let's just get to the question that I had for
All
you.
right.
Would you rather win a Super Bowl and have a losing record for the next 10 years, or would you rather go 12-5 every year for the next 10 years and not win a Super Bowl?
So for me, um, actually, either way, I would. It doesn't matter if I've had season tickets to the Jags. I've obviously don't have them this year. I have them this year, but I'm not going to be able to make it to all the games.
Right.
I would say I would rather go 12-5 for the next 10 years and not win a Super Bowl, especially if you're a season ticket holder, because those 10 years you're gonna have
The best.
year after year of
Yeah.
excitement.
Right.
Especially being a Jags fans, like they know what it's like when we have a 1 or 2 loss record, having season tickets and going to every home
Wait,
game with a freaking
1 or 2 loss record.
win. Sorry,
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
every home game and being disappointed. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Maybe we maybe we should just ask Bobby and Eddie that question. Since they're Bills
oh yeah, they
fans,
know what it's
they
like.
the playoffs and then just
But the
crap the
thing
bed.
with the yes, that one Super Bowl is going to be crazy, and you'll talk about it probably for the rest of your life. But then 10 years of having a losing record is a lot, and that's depressing. At least if you go 10 years of 12-5, at least every year you have that hope and excitement of being good, and
Yeah.
like
You're in the playoffs almost
there's
every
a
year.
possibility that you might win the Super Bowl that year. And guess what? After 10 years of having a winning record, who's not to say that you don't win the Super Bowl in that 11th year?
Right.
You
True.
know,
True.
there's always that
I
hope, at least. What about you?
I I don't know. Thinking about it, I like the 10 years.
Uh,
I'm sorry. The 10 years of going 12-5.
right.
So, like, you can have so much fun in that 10 years. You're winning 12 games a
Yeah.
year. Your team's one of the best teams in the league, and then just fold in the
Like
playoffs.
Adam, I think when
But
you pose this question in the group, he's like everybody talks about the Super Bowl winner. Nobody's going to talk about 12-5. I'm like, you can go 12-5 and still win a conference championship and go to the Super Bowl. Like
that's
you're
why we
telling me people
had him
don't.
on.
You're telling me people aren't talking about the Eagles from last season. Like just because they didn't win the Super Bowl doesn't mean people aren't talking about them. And
Oh, everybody's still talking about the
yeah,
Eagles. It'd be nice for them to constantly talk about the
yeah.
Jags.
Well, they usually do in the past years, just negatively.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
negatively. Or, yeah,
that's
yeah,
starting to turn around now. We're starting to get respect.
right. I mean, I saw somewhere somebody on Twitter has us projected to be the 3rd seed
Okay,
and the Jets the 6th seed. So that would give us the Jets at home in the playoffs.
nice.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe Aaron will be sick or something that game, and Zach Wilson will be playing.
Right? That would be awesome. Yeah. Yep. Well, before we end it, is there anything you want to say or add
No, I'm just
at
excited to be
all?
doing this again. I'm glad that we're keeping it going. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bummer. It's thousands of miles
Yeah,
away, but hey, we'll find a
that's
way.
right. It was always the Jags.
It was always the Jags, baby. That's gonna stick forever. It was always the Jags. Thanks to Dewey Wingard. Wingard,
Yep,
right? Wingard.
that's right.
Yeah.
Duval till we die.
Duval till we die. All right, guys. Until next week. I'm
And I'm
Raymond.
Scar. This is the Brew Dude Sportscast. Until next time.
Until next time, keep
Keep
it
it brewing.
brewing.